Alrighty, Doc here from North America. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. It's like it's Wednesday of the week, but to us it feels like Monday all over again. Boy, did we have a nice crowd in here the first Monday of this week. And that was a really good day. We had a lot of interesting questions, a lot of interesting concepts, and we threw a lot of ideas around. There's Robin. Hey, Robin. There is Miss Check. Hey, Miss Check, what's happening? So, yep. Oh, let's give me this volume too. A little too high. Ooh. There we are. There we go. So, there's the dollar index this morning. You see that? We're starting to get a little action, because everybody's back in the saddle now, and it's the middle of the week. Some people are going to try to play catch up. The others are probably going to be like, I'm on vacation. Forget about it. It's a summertime. Anything's possible. When it comes to the doldrums. In other words, it can get slow in the summertime. Since quantitative easing, the summers have been a little bit more active than normal over the last 5 decades. I can say that. But overall, just kind of figured that with the inflation and a lot of twists that have been going into the market itself from fundamentals, I'm more kind of leaning towards the idea that they're going to be slow and steady more than action-packed. Usually we get a good action day somewhere along the line over the next couple of weeks, but we'll see. You can see the dollar index right there in J4X on the daily right now, and you can see it 2 days in a green. Where's that mouse at? There it is. Right there, you can see this. It's trying to move up, and at the same time over in Chicago Quant, we've been in a daily buy for a bunch of days here now. For 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 days in a buy. But really, let me take a sip of water. Really, it's not the same. It's more like 7 days because the last 2 days have been really dead for us here. So, in other words, it's been like a 4-day weekend. So, that's what we see right here, and that's why I'm not that excited. But it's interesting to see it lift up in here, see some strength trying to come in. And at the same time, you can see we are still in that weekly sell here. And we're seeing the fast algorithm here. That's the dotted line on the weekly lifting through the zero line. At the same time, we go back over to J4X and we go into a weekly chart. And we're seeing that same bars. No, not bars. There it is. We see the same situation. We see that it's trying to lift up. You see the slow is traveling. The yellow dashed lines are at 33.79, basically 33.80, and we see the green is at 37.70. So we're seeing the green take off. It's starting to lift. It's trying to get through the zero line there, just like the dashed line is there. Now our slow math, the algorithm itself, is underneath the manifold, and it's trying to get going, and so far it has not. Well, I guess we'll see if they dare to check out the high of last Friday, and that's what that is right there. I think that is last Friday. Yeah, that's last Friday. So if they take the high out of that, it may start to lift this up even a little bit more, and we may start to see the slow join in with the fast, and it being in a daily buy, not letting go, it'll probably show the strength that's kicking out. Hey, Giannis! It looks like there are, rather big U.S. index moves during the pre-market hours. Yeah, they've started pushing on it slow and steady. Here, let me put it up on there. There's the S&P. And we're reflecting trying to go into a daily sell. We've been in a weekly buy now for like 15 weeks. It's 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 15 weeks it's in a weekly buy right now. And so we're going to see if this puts some pressure onto it. You see that was Monday, and I guess they must have had it open for like 3 or 4 hours on 4th of July for Europe, up until probably like 11 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, something like that. And then they closed it again, and then finally opened it up last night, I guess, maybe. I guess that's how it worked. And so you can see there's a little pressure on it right now. When we go into the intraday of the S&P, right there, we've been in an intraday sell now since the 4,487 area Going back, what time is that? That was late last night, around midnight. It went into the sell and has slid from the 88, 89 area down to the 68. It's dropped 20 full points, 20 handles. And you can see the same thing right here. You see that pressure on it. So we'll see if they give us a little bounce, they try to step up and buy, or what's going on there. I thought that the markets were slow on Friday of last week, and then the end of the month, I thought that was kind of sloppy, and then at the same time we saw the action that was going on in the other areas. An hour. Yep. I'm getting texted from Robin, you out there? Our beta is being used by Phil now. I got a text at 3:30 in the morning, my time, telling us that the beta got instigated by Phil. And I'm answering something to Jeff. Jeff's just texted me on something here. Let me just take care of that. Yep. Let's see. Oop, there we are. So, yeah, you can see the action in the stock market is choppy. It doesn't have great clarity at the moment, solely because it's been a holiday. And so now maybe they're taking some profits or doing something like that. But overall, when we look at the daily, now where I saw it too, Giannis? I saw it really kick out on the Tech 100 on Friday, and then on Monday too. Tech 100 really started to feel the pain. Let me see. Let's go there and see Tech 100. That's the wrong chart page. Let's say okay there and go like that. There we are. Let's find Tech 100. That was where I saw the pressure starting to develop. Now, and it's not really reflecting it there. You see, it's doing the same thing today. It's finding a way to get into the sell. But I saw the Tech 100 get knocked down a lot more on Friday. Not Friday. I think it was. Let's go over to J4X and put it up on J4X. I could have sworn I saw a lot of weakness during the webinar on Monday. Let's see, where are you? It's around here somewhere. There it is. Now, it's not really reflecting it that well at all on Monday. They came back. I saw at one point during our webinar they were selling it, and I thought that was odd because it was like 65 points down and everything else was kind of flat. In this case here, it's not really sticking out, so I'm more wrong than right. Cool. Yeah, Jeff texted me. It's 3:30 a.m. That was all right because Giannis was texting me somewhere right before or after that too, so it was all right. It's like, okay, let's get up and have some coffee and get going to the markets. But yeah, so good texting today, Giannis. We'll work on that. Mum's the word, as they would say. Loose lips sink ships. All right. So yeah, that's kind of interesting to see that weakness into the stock market. But yeah, again, there's a lot of pent up activity needed over the last couple of days because of the way the market was closed, basically for the last 4 days. Robin's throwing exclamations and question marks over what? I don't know. Or did you just accidentally hit the screen there? Okay. So, where are we at? Oh yeah, so that's it. That's the stock indices, and I expect to see that. We'll go back to them because I want to take a look at the Russell 2000 today also. All right, now let's go over to the euro. I guess that's the best way is drift over to the euro. There's the euro there. Yesterday it tried to get into the buy and it did get through there, but I'm just not paying attention to it because it was the holiday. So you can see we're in a weekly buy. We've been in daily sells. It's kind of just chopping along with no real direction. I don't really have. I saw more strength in the cable. And I thought that was a good conversation we had. Was that Monday or was it yesterday? We had that conversation with the cable. I guess it was yesterday, where GBP JPY versus Euro JPY versus Dollar JPY. Looking to see if we can understand who is the strongest out of all that. And we know one thing for sure: the dollar is the weakest. And so there's the euro. Let's get the euro up on J4X. There it is. You can see the pressure on it there too. Yesterday was pressure. Today's pressure. Lots of pressure. It's and it's. I don't want to say it's getting sold down hard or anything like that. It's just kind of sloppy at this point. I don't think there's no. It's one of my magic words that I love to use, and that is conviction. I just don't see conviction in the marketplace itself. I don't see more buyers than sellers, and I don't really see a hell of a lot of sellers versus buyers either. It seems like it's really stalled. Here we are. We're in a weekly buy, daily sell. Perfect example. That's what it's trying to tell us over and over again. The market is not that interested. And that's what it really is. That's what's really happening there. All right, now we go over to cable. See what the oh, there's Giannis. Giannis says euro still in a weekly buy. Yeah, same thing with cable. Both are in weekly buys. Well, look at it really. When you really think about it, like looking here on Chicago Quant, and it looks the same way too over here on J4X too. It's really sideways. Now the hinky Ashkies are making it look a little tougher, but look at this. Let's put a square around it. I mean, basically, since that nice move, you can see it's not really doing anything. It's like a pig on a spit. Just getting slowly turning and cooking. It's like a cowboy barbecue. And so that's really what's going on there. What else can we say about any of that? Yeah, that's pretty much what it really comes down to. I think we're going to be sloppy quiet. Honestly, I really see no reason why money would want to make more commitment than it has to. In other words, there's times where money commits because of the speculative nature. It looks like the inflation's going to go up or inflation's going to go down, or gross domestic product is going to go up or it's going to go down. And money goes in and invests in one country versus another, or parks money in a certain currency versus another. But at this point in time, I kind of think we're kind of stalled, where they don't really have that much conviction. There's my magic word again. Conviction itself, money itself, the fund managers, the institutions, the retirement funds. They don't really have much of a reason to want to move their money around right now. The best thing they could do is sit still, because they know that changes are coming. Things have to change, because it's just crazy the way it is at this point. So then you go over to so you see that on the euro like that. See, Jan says, I kind of look at 223 and see trend that captures the way the central banks work. Oh, totally. Yeah, you're 100% right. And I don't think the central banks have that much interest in shaking the market. That's what I think. I really think. Just following Powell, Chairman Powell from the Federal Reserve, he's got to be like asking for a timeout. He probably wants to go on vacation for the next 9 months. I'd imagine that the most ad takes aim at Trump's previous, and so yeah, I really have a hard time believing that money wants to make any real moves when we're less than a year and a half away from an election. And that's what it comes down to. What happens normally? Here we are. We're going into the summer months. Congress comes into session, basically in the fall. Supreme Court comes into session in the fall. And then what happens is that they have 3 good solid months, and then the holidays are kicking out at the same time. Christmas, Thanksgiving, all that stuff, New Year's. And now you're in 2024. And, so in other words, 5 months from now, there's going to be primaries for the presidency. 5 months, 6 months, 7 months from now. But in essence, it's really like 3-4 months, because they're not really going to get that involved more than what they're involved now. So Congress and the Senate are going to try to find a way to get through the summer. They're going to be doing other things instead of business. The House will be more business oriented. The Senate is going to be doing nothing. So in reality, in a political reality, or it's a fundamental mechanical reality, markets are going to start looking now and say, why are we building a bigger position in this, or why are we getting rid of our position in this? Or they're saying themselves at the meetings, funds have meetings like once or twice a day about what they're doing, and so they're saying, basically we have like 3 or 4 months, and then we have elections, because Congress and Senate, to a great extent, is going to try to be less active on many things financially, changing things for businesses and so forth. So, in theory, I know it's really 7 months away, the primaries and the elections start to happen, but in reality, when you skip the summer and say the summer is gone, you wake up and it's really only 3 months with them in session. That's it. And money follows the way the politicians move the market, the policies around. So, last I looked down at, Yana says central banks lagged compared to the counterpart. The currency went down. Yeah, exactly. And then dollar CAD down due to Fed lag and Bank of is that Bank of China or Bank of Canada? Probably Bank of Canada. Yeah, still being firm. Yeah, and I was surprised yesterday. Bank of Australia, basically chose to do nothing. And last I looked today, and then Euro GBP down due to ECB having lower rates than BOE, right? And similar inflation in UK and Germany, but almost 2% difference in rates should cause outflows to UK bonds from the bond. Yeah, you would think. But I think they keep on raising rates also. They're like the Federal Reserve, they're into that right now. They're into pushing those rates up, And then, you've got to think this too. We basically have 2 possible rate hikes here in the States over the next 12 weeks. So that again, money is sitting there going, are they doing something? Are they not doing something? And that's a good reason again for money to not commit itself, not to start building positions in something. Just do it lightly or softly or not at all. That's the way I look at it. I don't think they're going to be that aggressive. And you make total sense there, Giannis. Exactly. And that's where we're watching. We're watching the way the Fed. Now there's Euro, and now let's go. I'm going to go to Euro GBP because you mentioned that. We've been in a weekly sell in that thing now. So the Euro has been losing to the cable for a couple months now, and it kind of stalled out about 2.5 weeks back, and we're kind of stalling around now. We're in a daily sell for 3 days. We've been in that weekly sell since the 88 area or 89 area. Let me put my glasses on for that. 88.50. Okay, and so now we're at 85.65. So we've been in a weekly sell for almost 3 handles, which is a pretty decent sized move. And now we'll go over to the cable itself, and there's the cable, and the cable is in the daily buy for 3 days, and it's holding up. It's actually 3 days, and it's holding up, and it's in a weekly buy for 5 weeks now. Is it 5 weeks? Yeah, it's like right there. So 4 solid weeks, whereas the Euro is 4 weeks, 3 weeks working on 4, and cable's 4 working on 5. So to me, I think that we looked at the bonds last week. We were looking at all the short rates, and comparing them. And as far as I can tell, cable is a little bit more like America in the bond market than Germany is. Germany's still a little low. I think it's a little undervalued. I know. Let me say this again. It's underpriced, not undervalued, but underpriced. So in other words, it could be a little bit higher in price, and it's not. Cable, on the other hand, they have 5% bonds. Let's go look at the bonds. Let's go take a look at that. Because you're right, that's the fundamentals, and that's what I'm basing my train of thought off of. Now, obviously, I always follow the math first before I worry about making a trade. But let's see, right there it is, right there. So, U.S. Treasuries, we have 5%ers in just 4 months out, 3 months out, 1 month out. We have 5% all the way out to 1 year, and then it touches right underneath it on the 2 year. Then we go over to the UK, and the UK has 5% in 3 month, 5% in 6 month, almost 5.7, has 5.4 in 1 year, 5.3 in 2 year, 5.2 almost 5.145 in 3 year, and you go out to the 4th year, it just dips underneath the 5%. Now you look at Germany. Germany is 3.6. So to me, it's lower priced. So let's see if did they do an ECB? They should have an ECB. I don't see it now. Canada, you did mention Canada, so let's put that up there. There to Canada, it's pretty much cruising in the. There's a 5 there, 1 year out, and then they're a little lower in the 1 month and 3 month, but the 5 year is 5.16. Let's see, Euro. Last I looked, similar inflation in UK, Germany, but almost 2% difference. Yeah, rates should cause outflows to UK bonds from right. Exactly, money should head towards that direction. But I don't think money managers per se want to build positions right now. I think they want to do the opposite, because I think the money managers' natural tendencies is to look 6 months to a year and a half out, and they're really big on that. The classic buy the rumor, sell the news, and that's where the politics gets a lot noisier, because, like I said, the summer months, they're going to go into the Congress is really not going to get anything done, besides the business they're already working on. They're not going to try to pass too much at this point. The Senate refuses to pass anything. The Democrats control it. And so then the presidency, the president is just going to do his executive order bullshit. So it's not really going anywhere. So there's not much of a reason to want to as a money manager to want to start committing money into a particular area until you get a better feel for what the next 6 months to a year and a half is going to be. And right now it looks like it's going to be Mr. Trump. So that's why you don't see a lot of selling. In other words, as much as people were looking for that recession and they're looking for the selling. Now here we are now in July, and we're not getting any of that. I can't tell you how many times we heard people saying markets are going to collapse. They're going to go down hard. No money manager has the desire to get out of his position now. A lot of them missed the last ride, and so they don't have much of it. They have more of an interest to actually build position than flatten position or get out of a position. So that's the mentality, All right. So from there, we'll move the bonds out of the way again, and we'll move from the euro back to the cable, right there, and it just has that look like it wants to make more run on the upside, and that's pretty much the name of the game at this point. And so and then when you look at the stock market, it's at the lows of the day. Let's go back to the stock market. And you can see there's, we looked at it, it was at 468. Now it's at 467.75. It's made a new low today. It's in that sell. We're going to see that pressure. It'll be interesting to see if they do this for the next couple days, or they start to just stall out. I myself am thinking, okay, when we go to the daily chart of the S&P 500, right there, Is that the S&P? No, that's the Nasdaq. And there's the S&P. Maybe they put it in to sell for a day or two. Do you think? I mean, do I think we're going to see something like this? I'm not really confident about that. I don't think it's going to be that many days of selling. But a couple of days of selling, and they may just turn it back up again. And we see the dollar index showing strength. When we're in that weekly sell, but the fast algorithm itself and the fast stochastic has turned up. So that's the next horse race to watch. Let's see where we at here. So let's put the. I just want to. There we are. And you can see there is. It's trading at this. Where's it at now? No, that's not it. Right there. So yeah, I mean you can see at 4,467.50. I mean it's barely like a half a point down. It's they made new lows and they're trying to bounce back up again. All right, let's go check out the Swiss. There's the Swiss, and we're very comfortable saying that we think the Swiss is parked down here and it's going to stay down here, and they're going to keep those gains. I guess in the end it'll be interesting to see how the Swiss, the way we're looking at GBP, Euro, and dollar pairs against the yen. It'll be interesting to see the same thing in Swiss in some ways. Swiss does seem to be very, very strong compared to the yen, which is very weak. But they both were trading together for about a good 5-6 months, locked together. And then once the Credit Suisse situation kind of stopped, and they kind of resolved the issue there, the next thing we knew is that the Swiss was roaring, and they gave up the ghost when it came to the JPY. And was it you, Giannis, that said it yesterday? How much higher is this thing going to go? Or was that Mountain West? That might have been Mountain West that said that. It's like, that has the potential to, I think it could go take out last year's highs. That's the way it's acting. It has that look to it. All right. So from the Swiss, and as you can see there, it's battling. It needs to get into a weekly buy. It's not in a weekly buy here. You see that? It's just in daily buys for a bunch of days now, week and a half now. Let's put it up on J4X. There it is right there. And it's got that upwardly lift, but I'm not that excited about either direction of it at this point. I really think that the Swiss got it all figured out at this point. We got meeting minutes today at the Fed meetings. I doubt they will show anything new. Yeah, I agree. I would look. I think everybody has a good idea what we think they're thinking about now. I guess the biggest thing they can get out of it is who's dissenting and who is supporting of the next quarter increase. That's probably the only thing that there are times where analysts and managers and so forth in the financial markets look for just literally as something as simple in a paragraph as that. Who if is there 4 of them? Is there 6 of them? Is there 3 of them? Governors and presidents supporting a quarter increase, depending on who and so forth, that could move the markets. You're right. That could be a little event there to pay attention to. And that's, what is it? That's 9 o'clock now, so 9/3. That's 5 hours from now. All right, and then from there we jump over to the yen, which we were talking about, how it's been beating itself up. It's trying to get back into the daily buy right here. Matter of fact, it stayed in the daily buy. It's been in the daily buy since the 138.39 area, or 139.40 area. And here we are now. The high is almost 145, 144.75. So lots of pressure. And the weekly too. We've been seeing this weekly on a rage since mid-April. And then There it is right there. You can see a little red trying to develop. And you can see it's been flattened down for the last 3 days. What else can we say about this? I guess this is the real surprise in a sense that, going back about 4 or 5 weeks, didn't really think that the yen was going to be this weak, and it is, and it doesn't seem to want to stop, and that's the amazing part. All right, now from there we go over to, there you go, the euro. The euro yesterday made another, euro Turkish lira made another all-time high yesterday. I mean, it just cannot get out of its own way. It just doesn't stop. That's the only way to describe it. It just does not stop. It's in a situation where the policies or whatever they are, it's going on, are definitely not conducive for growth. That's for sure. As much as it would make sense if you devalued your currency so you could get foreign investment, but if you don't improve on your policies, that's what the problem is. Is if you don't improve on your policies, then what happens is that no one wants to invest there, and that's what the problem is. The policies are the things that are putting things out. You can only use interest rates and inflation a certain amount. It is not a guarantee that you're going to get investors to come in. People do look at it and go, okay, yeah, this is like undervalued or overvalued, but not this. Not when you've gone from 1 to 29. 1 to 29 in 10 years? Not even. It's like, that's like the last thing they want to do at this point. All right, from there, okay, what else can we say about the Turkish lira besides the fact that it made another all-time high yesterday? It's not doing it today. It's relatively dead, but it's just, it is what it is. All right, now from there, we go over to what we do. We go to Mexican peso. I think that's what we do. There's the Mexican peso, very strong. We call it the M brick at times. It's showing us that the dollar overall is sideways more. I mean, we see it trying to lift up today, but it's in a weekly buy. And what was it? The dollar index again? Let me just double check. I thought it was weekly and daily, right? There it is. Yeah, so it's in a daily buy and in a weekly sell. That's what the problem with the dollar index is. I have a hard time getting on board with the move. I'm hoping that the fast algorithm does drag it up, but that's what the problem is, and the Mexican peso really reflects that. Right there, it's down at the bottom of the range, and it's like a 5-year low. So let's put it up on J4X, but I think it's 5 or 6 year low at this point, 7-year low, something like that. Let's put up a weekly and put peso dollar in. That's 2017, 18, right? Yeah. July of 18. So we're talking, was that 5 years? Yeah, we're playing around with 5-year highs. That's a gain 5-year high on the dollar. They're beating the dollar, basically. Dollar's weak. That's what it's saying. All right, now from there we jump over to the South African Rand, the other brick. You see there the strength in it. It's been lifting for like the last Actually, it's weakness when it goes up. It loses money against the dollar. And you can see last couple of days it got a little firmer. And we usually do this too. We go and look at gold. All right, you see there, gold has been trying to lift for the last couple of days. I think it's in a daily buy. Let's take a look at it over here. Yeah, it's in a daily buy. It's flirting with the daily sell. It's right on the edge, but it's got a red and a green, so it's not really pressing it down that hard. But that's usually as gold shows firmness on the upside, the South African rand should be moving down again. Let's go back to it here. And it is. You can see it's on a downwardly slope since Friday. All right. Now, from there, we go to, I guess what we do is we move over to the Canadian. Let's see what the Canadian's doing. We haven't seen Benny lately. And there's the CAD. And you can see there, I'm just having a sip of water. You can see the CAD has been losing value against the dollar a little bit here over the last 6-7 days. Nothing major. And you can see it's trying to turn up. It's still in that buy. And the weekly is trying to turn up. What is that? That's the dollar CAD, yeah. So, and oil should be heading down since it's been trying to press. Notice it was going up. The U.S. dollar CAD trade the CAD was losing against the dollar. And when we go over and we look at the oil market, there it is there. So you can see here it's going up in value. So normally Canadian finds a way to go down. And today the Canadian is basically, where's that? Right there. It's kind of trying to pop up. So, there's all kinds of stories out there about the gas situation. Federal government's getting ready to try to go in and cover what he sold, things like that. Saudi Arabia says they're cutting just like 1 million barrels. It's so hard to even police something like that when you say you're cutting 1 million barrels. But we'll see. When you're producing 10 million a day, you have no idea if the 10 million is really, accurate. But we'll just take the word for them that it is. All right, what else could we got going here? Let's see. So, I don't see anything else when it comes to the currencies. I want to go check out what Benny's thing was, too. Let's see. Where is GBP? I think it was GBP AUD that he's been following. I'll know in a second when I scroll down to that spot. No, JPY, that's it. So right there, you can see it's still gaining. Looks like today they're still gaining compared to the dollar. JPY. It's holding up pretty well in there, trying to make another high. In a daily buy for like 9 days now, 10 days. Weekly buy for months upon months. So that is kind of like something to think about. And again, that's that odd situation we look at now. We look at the euro, the GBP, and the U.S. dollar against the yen to try to get a flavor of what's going on. Let's see. That is that. I have messages? Let's see what this is. I think something says I have messages. Let's see. No, it's just okay. That's fine. Oop, I must have disconnected myself there. There we are. Yeah, there was nothing else in there. All right, so that leaves us pretty much at the end of the currencies. And from there, we'll go take a look at the rest of the metals complex, go from silver down to platinum. And there is silver. You see silver is still in a daily buy. It was flirting with the daily sell a little bit there. It's pulled itself out of it. That'd be a good reason to see South African Rand probably gain against the dollar here today, the rest of the afternoon. Gold. There's gold. Gold's doing the same thing. Up firm. It's been flirting with the daily sell, but not really getting into it. But they're all both in weekly sells. So let's just go back to the silver. Yeah, it's just, it's in a weekly sell. Again, we really trapped. It's the summertime blues. You got a lot of weekly buys and daily sells, and vice versa. Lots of daily buys, but we have weekly sells. Money is not committing itself. And then we look at copper right there. There's September copper. It's has no problem trying to define itself, trying to go into a daily sell. And it's in a weekly buy now for 3 full weeks, and it's starting a 4th week now of a weekly buy. So then platinum. There's the October platinum trying to get into the buy. I guess yesterday they ran it for a little bit, but we'll wait and see. And you can see for 7 weeks now, going on an 8th week, it's been in a weekly sell. Number 8. Alrighty. Let's save this too. There we are. Now, from there, that completes the metal side of things. Let's go take a look at the energy side. There's August oil trading up for the day, heading for the 72. At the same time, at one point we were flirting with a weekly sell, but that's obviously disappeared altogether. So we'll just save that. And I think the oil news, there's oil information that comes out in an hour and 17 minutes. So that could instigate even more. And this is August crude. And then we'll take a look at the back month. There's October crude showing buyers trying to come in. And the weekly is falling out of favor on the sell side. Now it's back through the weekly buy. So, and that's really the whole trick of it. Watching how those weeklies and dailies coordinate with each other. And when they do, it's a good win. And when they don't, it's like, oh, damn. All right, let's see. From there, we go over to natural gas. Oh, let's put Brent up on J4X too, just to be able to look at the action we're seeing. Right there's Brent, 76. I think yesterday was 75. It's up $1. So they're continuously stepping up to buy that, like they are the U.S. gas. And then let's take a look at, let me just save this one too. No. Does that make any sense? Let's see. There it is. Huh. Where's it at? Let's see. Save picture. It's file. There we go. All right, and put that back month crude in. There we go. They're holding that up, 71.69, and where is spot now? 71.75. So it's 7 cents discounted. So that means that the front month they're reaching for front month softly at the moment, holding a premium, and that was the the odd part before where they lost the premium. Now it's back a little. It's barely, to me it's almost unchanged. But we watch it all. Watch all the squiggles. Alrighty. Then from there we look at natural gas, and there's nat gas. You can see the same situation there. Natural gas is holding sideways up a couple, 3 days now, and at the same time a weekly buy. So that's where we have a coordination of both indicators, and they both are telling us that there's buyers more than there's sellers, which is not a surprise. And we are in a weekly buy for 3 full weeks now, and looking for a fourth. And they had one little pop, and maybe there'll be another pop around the corner. That's what it looks like to me. Alrighty. From there, let's save that too. There we are. Let's check out the energy company in Spain. See what they're up to this morning. Probably like 27.80 or something like that. Let's see, where are you? I think that's it. There it is right there. They're not 28, but they're got to be very close. Oh no, they've actually backed off a little bit. That's good. I thought for sure we'd be seeing 27, like 85 or 95, something like that. And instead it's down about 15-20 from yesterday. Not bad at all. That's a good thing. All right, from there, that pretty much completes the metals. Let's go take a look at the Dow Jones Industrial Average. And then we're going to look at the Russell 2000 too at the same time. There's the Dow. Dow is holding up firm there. That's a little interesting. Let's see what it does right there. Okay. There's September Dow Jones Industrial Average. It's also joining in with the selling. They've been in a buy for weeks. Definitely a lot of buying pressure there. The Dow seemed to show us the way. It went into that sell. It went down. The other markets went sideways, and now it's come out of that sell 4 weeks ago. 4 full weeks back. This is a 5th week in a buy. Very impressive. They definitely are not running away from it. That's for sure. Now let's look at the Russell 2000. Right there. And you see it's holding up towards its highs. It looks like a reverse head and shoulders. In other words, it looks like it wants to climb even higher. Interesting. Huh. Yeah, so that's pretty much the stock indices. That's the oils, that's the natural, the energies, and then the metals complex. Kind of run it all to a gambit here. Anybody have any questions out there that we can go to? Because if not, we got to start thinking about a title. We've been on for 51 minutes now. Trying to think what we could call it today for that. What was it? We started off with looking at talking about the volume, I guess it was, and the size of the donuts or something like that. I'm not sure. Something of that nature. So what can we call this particular one? How about S&P's correcting in morning, something like that. Trying to open it up right now as we speak. There we are. There we are. All right. think we're going to call today's title we're going to use the S&P for sure, because they're all three indices are trying to correct. So we're going to say stock indices correcting. Let's see. Remind me later. There we are. There we are. There we go. So that's how we're looking at it here, traders. We're looking at it as stock indices taking profits. I don't think they're hard selling. Everybody's in a weekly buy, and even the Russell 2000, the most speculative of the stock indices, is in a daily and weekly buy. So it tries to say to us more than anything else is that this is correction. Oh, here we go. Yana said, can you find or look back at IoT? Sure. It popped right. Sell up. Okay. SL at 27. Minimal TP at 31. So is that IQ or the IoT? Let's see if we have that. Let's go check that out. Oop. Wrong thing there. Let's open this up like so. Maybe profit taking sounds better too. Stock indices, stock indexes, profit take. That's it. That's the way I look at it. There we are. Now let's go find IoT and TP. Pumped needs to set SL at 27, minimal TP at 31. All right, let's go see those. IoT, that sounds familiar. IoT. It is Samsara. Okay, cool. And let's put it up over here. Let's see. Let's go down to. We can put it into that NCLH. There's that NCLH we were looking at. Still in a daily buy today. And let's put IoT in there. There we go. IoT. And we got that. And I'm going to put in, it popped on my feed at setup. SL at 27 and minimal TP at, it says stop loss and trading product. That's what it is. So okay, I was going to go look up those two. That's what that is. All right. Look up. Let's see. There's smart right there. Okay, let's see what it does on the stock index now. Here it comes. There's IoT. Looks like it's playing with the daily sell on the pre-market at the moment. IoT on the weekly. It's been in a weekly buy. You can see that here. Went into the weekly buy down in here. Went into the daily buy right. Is that right? Did that put it in the sell? No. Because well, okay. So I guess you could treat this as the buy then. This 2 out of 3 were in the sell, so it really went into the buy, I guess, right here, and it stayed in the buy all the way up. So go like that. There we go. How's that? IoT. I hear you. All right, this is Doc from North America. We can look at this again tomorrow, too. I'll save that. This is Doc from North America. See you all tomorrow, same time, same channel. So, happy trails to you until we meet again. Happy trails to you, to all our trading friends. No problem. At least we have it here to look at it. Trade's nice. Goes into a sell here. It's in a weekly sell. Goes down. Gets into a daily buy. You're not short anymore, but the weekly is in a sell. Does it get into a buy here? No. So it's still in the sell there, and that weekend it's still in the sell. And then it jumps into the buy here. And that's what it gives you. All right. See you all tomorrow. See you later, Robin. Talk to you later, Robin, and talk to you later, Janos. Ta-ta for now. IoT.